Thank you. Thank you. Many blessings to give. That now just use us as council to do the decisions deal with be pleasing to you. We ask for blessing, blessing on seniors. We ask that you use everyone here today to go with it. Everything you say with it.
Amen.
Amen.
Information announcement, ordinance to South Carolina Code of Law, 1976, as amended. The main floor Mullen Enterprise has been notified today, and placed on the agenda of this meeting. Number 4, election of officers.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, this time every year we need to elect our new slate of officers. If not, we will start with the position of chairman. I go to the floor for nomination.
I move.
I make the motion to, I'm sorry.
Make a motion on any of that here.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second, any discussion?
Further nomination.
We'll nominate for
All those in favor of naming him as chairman, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And move on to the vice chair. Open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Mr. John Q. Atkins, vice chair.
Any other names for consideration?
Who nominates for the
All those in favor of John Q. Atkinson continuing as vice chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And for Chapman, for
I nominate Mr. Alan Flo, chair.
all in favor of Alice Kelly continuing as chairman as well, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, I'm gonna come around and do the oath of those positions. And then you rise.
Regardless where,
I will support
support and government,
the Constitution of the United States,
by the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of South Carolina,
the Constitution of the State of South Carolina,
and the ordinance and rules and procedures
and the words, rules, and procedures,
of the County of Marion.
County of Marion.
I will faithfully and diligently
I will faithfully, faithfully,
perform the duties of chairman
perform the duties of chairman
of the Marion County Council. According to the law, clear,
I do solemnly swear
and I will support the flag,
that I will support the flag
Constitution of the United States,
of the Constitution of the United States,
Constitution of the State of South Carolina,
Constitution of the State of South Carolina,
and the ordinance and rules and procedures
and the ordinances and the procedures
of the County of Marion.
of the County of Marion,
Faithfully and diligently
and that I will faithfully and diligently
perform the duties of vice chairman
perform the duties out here
of the County Council.
of the Marion County Council
According to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
You do the same, if you want. You follow me?
You got a second discussion? On first aye. Aye. Likewise, ayes have it. Approval of minutes of December 17th, 2025, such call. So, what you got a second for discussion? On first aye. Aye. Opposed? Recess, regular meeting, open for public. So, motion got a second discussion. On first aye. Aye. Likewise, ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members, council, and those in attendance, we have one item for the public hearing this morning. This is for ordinance 2025-08. An ordinance to authorize the execution of the special source revenue credit agreement by between Marion County, South Carolina, and LSP Panels and or LLC, a company previously identified as Project Marion, acting for itself, one or more affiliates, and for project investors. Provide for service of the revenue credit information to establish and facility and account. The project, the benefits of Long County industrial and business park. And certain special revenue credits be made available to the company in the project and other matters related to the environment and sufficiency for and against this order.
Public hearing, being regular meeting. So move. Second. Discussion. On first aye. Aye. Likewise, ayes have it. Resolution. Ordinance.
All right, I mean, this is gonna be a little bit of back and forth. We have simple things that are not real, and take away. Item A, we're still on hold, project. Item B, hopefully.
Think project eight, I don't think the term project this is still in use.
Well,
That shift, so
it is and it's not, which is why this is still here. We finish what we're in the process of finishing, we can back out. Yes, sir. I agree. So, but that process dealt with more than the Enron you're thinking of, which is why that's still. Your wishes to terminate it and take it off.
no, my concern is that we're not fully aware of what it is. We've talked about it in the past. It's time that the project got different names, the things, some of the names are back, some of the projects.
Being that that is a volatile, economic development, and I value that. This is the one we just had the public hearing on, their attorney is sick. And we wanted to go back through the third reading one last time, we'll work things, probably might need to change a little bit, so he asked us to go ahead and do the public hearing, which we did, because he had already noticed that, hold off on third reading, and then we'll get that one next week. Item C. We are still on hold for that, probably hold that one up until next week as well. Item D, if I can ask you to approve that one all together on this figure on the rock communications transaction with the tower and the old landfill site, we found out from talking to our environmental consultant through the holidays that we had done everything that needed to be completed with DES to cover that facility, and that's already completed. So there's no need for us to do the lease stuff and conveyance later. We can just go straight to the conveyance. So I have first reading of that next month in December. So if you would take action to review that.
Second. Got a motion, got a second, any discussion? On the first aye. Aye. Likewise, ayes have it.
All right, so that takes us to item B, You have a full copy of this ordinance, second reading of ordinance 2025, it's authorized. And that really was ordinance, last year, prior to Act 66.4.
So moved.
Second.
A motion got a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Likewise, ayes have it.
Item F, second reading of ordinance 2025-22, you also have a full copy of this, have this sometime to review. Ordinance authorizing repeal of the 2011 and county flood management ordinance and other amendments thereto, and to enact in place 2025 Marion County flood management ordinance attached to the park. On second reading.
So moved. Second.
A motion got a second, any discussion? All in favor say question. This is our county flood mitigation office, correct? I want to make sure. All in favor say aye. Aye. Likewise, ayes have it.
Item G and H are very similarly related. The reasons that I have confidence, I need to look at the placement of where this stuff is going to be in our industrial park. And so I think that I already talked to Public Service Authority about holding this off until next year, second reading, so that's what I'm planning to do. Item G and H will hold to next reading. That will take us to item I. If you have a full copy of the second reading of ordinance 2026-01, an ordinance authorizing the execution of levy of a fee in lieu of tax and incentive agreement by the Marion County, South Carolina, and the company identified for the time being as Project Liberty with respect to the establishment of certain facilities in the county project. The benefits of Multnomah County Industrial or Business Park made available to the company and the project. Certain special revenue credits in connection with the project, no matter what it is. Take a second, we're leaving on second act.
So moved.
Second. A motion got a second, any discussion?
Yes. I think we need to slow down a little bit on this particular project. Because this particular project is proposed to use an exorbitant amount of resources, water, sewer, electricity. We don't have any real hard numbers and details about what that use will be and its corollary impact on other things that are important to the county, particularly if it comes to electricity use, how that impact the amount of electricity that's available for home builders, because that's a top priority to expand the number of single family homes in the county and rentals. I know that's a need that the school district has, I know that's a need that the hospital has. And we don't have any hard numbers. So that's one side. The other side of it is the water aspect. Where this water will be coming from, how much will be drawn from. Because under state law, farmers in our county are allowed to do well irrigation. And many farmers who have large operations tap into local well sources. And we need to know what kind of impact that will have on farmers within that area that uses well irrigation, and that might be impacted by this. So these are some serious questions, and we don't have any hard data, paperwork in front of us to be to the point, in my opinion, at a second reading to say we're ready to approve something. We're going to know water, sewer, we're going to know how much electricity this will require, and what kind of cost benefit analysis that it will have to the county when it comes to future housing development and other needs that we have.
Yeah. And I respond to Councilman Rogers, please, sir. And I agree with Mr. Rogers on his assessment. However, if you all can remember, Mr. Rogers, we just hadn't started vetting this project. We've been vetting this project since last year, March, thereby. And as it relates to electricity power, we have met the power companies that will be providing power to this entity, and they have made pretty plain that we have a meeting scheduled it is going to be Thursday to finalize all those, numbers, if you will, as it relates to providing, power to this entity. We met with Marco Rule Water on several different occasions discussing, the water need that would be, needed for this entity, and Marco assured us, assured the, project Liberty that there's more than enough water for them to provide, because these, this entity will not require as much water as some of the other ones have in the past because of the latest technology, so to speak. As it relates to sewer, same thing. We met in Grand Strand Water, so not one time, many times, going over, making sure we dot all our I's and crossing all our T's. So we think we've done a pretty good job, vetting this project. Like I said, even prior to this project, you all know that one prior to that, when we went through the same process. So we met with all the experts who provide these, services, to such entities. And they have assured us that they can more than adequately, provide, the services that they're requiring, and it will not impact the local citizens, ratepayers, etc., that it may have marginalized some of this, and you could see costs possibly go down. And so we've had these discussions, and those are great concerns that you have raised, but we have spent the last 8 or 9 months going through this process, and we're not at the finish line yet. I just want to be very clear. We still have some more vetting to do, and like I said, we have a meeting this Thursday in Columbia with all the players. We're talking about all the chiefs around the table vetting and talking about these same concerns that you're raising. So I can assure you, we have done our due diligence, sir, in vetting this topic.
I have no doubt that they can provide all the services. My concern is whether or not we have actual studies and data that the public can access and look at. Because we're talking about a project that's going to be around 30 to 40 years. Probably not really. And the kind of impact. So for us to just say, oh, it's not going to impact the electricity rates, then people can go look up for their own. This kind of project in other areas to see what kind of impact it had. It can't be just in isolation. This one particular project is somehow different than the general aggregate of the impact that's had on the project around the country. So my concern is I'm not against the project. What I'm saying is that if there's meetings that still need to be had, we need to slow down. We need to get the final data, the final numbers, so that we can present it to the public, because this is going to have an impact on the whole county. And that's my concern, because that's what I've heard from some of my constituents, what I've heard from some farmers, in particular, need some reassurances, and I think slow down. Get some hard final numbers based on paper that can be cross-checked before we make a final decision. Because this project has changed. Yes, it's been going on for a while, but it's changed. Certainly it was going to be done. Things changed. And now we're at this point where, hey, we're ready to move forward to the second reading, but we don't have any final numbers that I can say to any constituent that asks me, this is what the impact is going to be.
I can assure you, Mr. Rogers, we've had that conversation as well. You know, this is on the second reading. We still have to have a public hearing and a third reading before we actually approve this. And I think that will be the time that we come with all the facts and present that to the public. We will dare not involve the public and make them aware of what this will mean to their community. And how it will impact them, whether it's in a positive way or negative way. We still will provide all that information to the community. This is not something that we're trying to do under the radar and not make the, public aware.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I would never suggest that.
Yeah, and so we.
But my concern is, if we do this at a posted meeting, that would be right before a final vote.
Well, we're planning to have meetings before the public meeting, that way we will actually engage the public, so they will, that we can have a Q and A period where they can ask questions and answers and what have you, so we plan to do all.
Yeah, that's what I think the public is informed about.
Like that we just did. But I understand what you're saying, and we will, publish all that information, like I said, make the public aware, and they can come and hear for themselves and ask questions and get answers, and, we're all about transparency here. We've always been about transparency, we're not trying to, not engage the public, because, I mean, we live here, this is our community. And so we will always do what's first and foremost, what's in the best of the citizens here in Marion County. And of course, we also, want people to know we're also open for business. And we entertain any industry that is willing to do business here in Marion. However, we want to make sure it works for everyone, for our citizens and also for our business. We want to be, create a business friendly environment. And so, and we will continue to do our due diligence. And we're not trying to rush anything, but at the same time, we do have a timeline to get certain things done. And so I think there's still much time, if we're still, vetting and finding out more information. We have questions as well that we, need answers to, and we're getting those, and when we get everything laid out, but we don't want to do it prematurely when we haven't done our full vetting of this and get answers and questions ourselves. So when we do bring it to the public, then we can do it for them and respond to any questions and concerns they have. And it just won't be us, it'll be the experts, we'll have the power folks there, we'll have the water folks there, we'll have all the players there. And so that's kind of where we are. And I agree with you 100%. And it's not that we're trying to rush anything by no means. This is not something you can rush. 30, 40 years is a long time.
Motion got a second, any more discussion? On the first side? Hold like one?
All right, just remind you, first reading does not require any action to take place that would relate to the title of this issue. So item A, the reading of the ordinance 26 ordinance to authorize establish a program pursuant to the South Carolina Daily River to grant special property tax. To grant special property tax assessment to certain rehabilitated historic properties. Okay, first reading of ordinance 26-03, ordinance authorizing county to sell the beginning power of property. We got a landfill site on 41A, got a name there, got a tax parcel number 121-00-033-000, terms of attached contract, authorizing county administrator or deputy administrator to execute all documentation for such transfer or ratify their prior execution of claims, all documents located. So. Well.
Details, and I'm fully informed about the surrounding circumstances. And I'm also going to share that those surrounding circumstances we had in the executive session. But I don't think we're at the point to have that. I don't remember any kind of general consensus around that. There we go, somebody else? Any further discussion on it? Going back to, I had a kid, I'll just comment on about first readings. I don't think any property, county owners should be auctioned off. This is a huge partial part of the land. This land could be probably used for raising cattle or, I know, being sold, just on it should be. Anytime we sell, county property, it should get auctioned off. That's in my opinion. And so there are other options that the county can do with this property. But in this particular case, I'm just speaking up. In my opinion, when it comes to selling property, should auction off.
I thought that was our policy. Anytime we sell property, unless it's specified differently, what we talking about?
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is something we kind of inherited from the, previous, administration. And something they had worked out with this company in acquiring the property. So there's still limitations on this property because it was a landfill. And we're still responsible for monitoring it, the well and what have you. And I think this ordinance will, allow for that. There's a keen interest there because, of the tower. And then, of course, we've had no one else who expressed interest in, acquiring the property. But, we do have a policy, as they stated, that, where we are required to, put it out to bid, so to speak.
What is our final, whatever the final, sale price is, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's based on, market dynamics. I can say not doing it. So that's one thing. Other things that this communications tower, if we market this, we'll put it in high demand. So that we could possibly get a higher market price for this property if we actually sell. Instead of auction it off to the higher bidder. That's not that previous administration. This is not Mr. Williams, like it's correct. The previous administration entered into some kind of agreement that we did not agree to sell it out. So we need to start over, in my opinion, if you don't sell it, auction it off.
Yeah. And I guess I'm confused. That's surprised. We went through leasing, letting people use animals or animals in our property. And that's another. I don't see that ever. So I don't know. I'm always surprised for someone like to buy the property to raise cattle. That's on them. I know it. What we would do is offer to any citizen that wants to purchase that property. It's not just a lot of one person. I don't think it's a question. It'd be a bid system, but there'd be a lot of requirements. This is the land deal. Are we going to retain all the restrictions and things that go to that land deal, or are they gonna be the ones responsible?
So a couple of different things. First off, is the landfill property. Actually, this is not a market property. Right? This is not something that you put out there and you're gonna get developers coming in speculating to buy this property. It's just not. Nobody wants the liability, nobody wants to deal with that going forward. So from a valuation of an acreage amount, the property is almost worthless from the reserve standpoint. Now, that's obviously determined by a market. You have somebody out there who do crazy things, but it might do that. I don't think so. That's not how all this started. This all started because we have a tower, it's on this property, that we can't afford to bring the updates that need to be brought and put it in the shape of this particular company. That's what they do. That's what they've done for us. In other areas and other towers that we have.
But the other companies do that as well.
So I imagine they would. That's not how this started.
Well, what I'm saying is that if other companies do,
Can I finish?
then we should.
We're gonna let one person at a time, okay? Then you respond.
So we're talking about the things, the whole process, kind of like what's about these other items. The whole purpose of the first reading is to get the title out there of the record. It's not to get discussion, it's not in the packets of first reading. The second reading is when you get the full evidence, you have your discussion, you flesh out your convention, you want to flesh out, and you can vote it or vote against it. You know, that's the process of the ordinance. That's why we have it in the packet. It's not to discuss all that each and every time. You can't, I'm not saying you can't, it's your not to do it what you want that. On this specific property, again, you're right. The prior administrator is the one that negotiated this with this company to get this tower so that it was off our back. So we didn't have the liability of the city. Now there are lights back on that tower because this company did that. And so now we don't have that liability right this second because they went and did that, knowing that all this was taking place. It's already done for credit. So we were under the lease process before. That's where we were heading. That's where we were going. There's no need to do all that now because we found out all that site closure stuff for DES was complete. So there's no reason to continue to go down that road, do a lease, and to wait things out, transferring the property would be a much simpler process.
Well, I think the important thing is just how to get the agenda. We discussed it once. I mean, we didn't give too much discussion on it, and it just hit the agenda. And we had concerns that were answered about this project before we put on the agenda, but we never answered. That's our biggest concern. We had questions we wasn't getting answers to.
I may respond, please. And I think that, attorney said it best. This is just the first reading, gentlemen. Then you got plenty of time to stop it, you know, and have, the discussion that, you need to have if there's some, unanswered questions and know what you're saying, the process. You have a procurement, policy, I get that. But it's not like you have, companies or people standing in line, when this property is not like it's prime real estate. And I know I'm being redundant here, but it's a landfill. It's a liability. That's what you have here. You have a liability. And the uses of this property is very, very limited. Very limited. And because the tower sits on this property and so forth. And of course, the liability that we carry right now in owning this property and the tower is pretty substantial, and it's not going to get any better. And so we were just trying to find a way to lessen our liability and find a good use for this property. Because we won't be able to use the land, it's just the tower. So the land, there's no real value on the land, it's only the tower. And of course, we will still have access to the tower to put our equipment on there and so forth. So, you know, I think, we're in a pretty good position. Even though it happened, it kind of was precipitated under the, previous administration. I don't think, it's a bad position for us. But with all due respect, it rests with this council to make the final decision. And whatever decision you make, I respect that and we will adhere to that. But I just want you all to know, not like this is prime real estate, this is a liability.
I think the important thing is to follow the policy. Have a policy in place, and we follow. And then there is an asset, that communications power, and with a little effort that had been done, to reach out to other communication companies that are similarly situated, to invite them to bid on the tower. That's a market practice to try to get maximum value for the asset that you have.
Mr. Chairman, I asked one question. I've heard the talk about policy. I know there has been, we don't know position. Talk though, going down this road of a policy that's what we do. I'm not aware that that's ever happened. I've been county clerk in 2008, and I don't think I've ever seen this council take an action to restrict all sales of the land that the county owns is by auction only. Primary reason for that is when you're in an economic development stance, that's a disaster. And if you're not going to get projects who want to come in, and every idiot who gets the site, they want to put it on the entities that they want that same site. And it also takes away our ability to negotiate the land part of it in the bigger picture like we have done in the past. So I'm not aware of a criminal policy that this council has ever adopted successfully. So I didn't want to make sure I put that out there on the record. I know there's been some general discussions of it, but I don't know that I've ever seen that unless the court seems like it's bringing to that policy.
Well, I'm going to take the board's perspective on this because it said that we should get this stuff off of this out because
Let me follow, we've had in the past certain areas that were applicable to property already adjacent or whatever. But the two things follow here. I have no problem if you get out. But we gotta make sure the liability, the other properties that we've dealt with, I don't remember ever having any property where there could be such a liability. And if we're gonna sell it, whatever we're gonna do, you wanna get rid of the liability. We haven't got a case like it. Now,
right.
this is a little different, but I just think we don't need to be on the hook for any situation that could arise later. That's my biggest problem.
I could say it again, stronger, or I could tell you, you are
I'm
on
on
the hook.
We want to, if we sell it, we want to make sure we're not.
And that's what we're trying to do is, get the taxpayers, and that's who's on the hook, are the taxpayers. And we're trying to get them off the hook. This is a big liability. We were kind of kicking this can down the road for quite some time. I mean, if that's what the council would do is keep kicking this can down the road, so be it. But I'm just telling you, I don't know that it's gonna get into that. In terms of somebody wanting to acquire this property, the tower. And you said it right, Mr. Rogers, it's the tower with the asset here. And it's the owner. We've been pretty clear in articulating the liability aspect. And I think the liability outweighs the process. And sometimes, you know, we have the process in place and we understand policy. And I agree with the attorney in certain extenuating circumstances. And I would say this is problem one. We do what is in the best interest of the taxpayers and trying to lessen the liability because it could really become a real financial burden on the taxpayers here in this county. Thank you, sir.
Sure, I think that one thing about the liability portion is to make sure we're all winter restraint, not what a liability is. And this particular facility with two liabilities, liability of the house without not being in compliance, with certain, regulations for the federal and state. And then there is the liability of the landfill itself. Now, what we can do and what we will do, what the process is transferring the liability of the tower is going to the grantee. They're requiring that tower as they're going forward. We're reserving our right, as we discussed before, to place communication devices on that tower. We are easy to in and out, do whatever we have. We can negotiate with, the communication folks to do that for us, or we can do it ourselves. We have reserved all of that, to do that, but they have that right, still have that on the tower. The liability for the landfill is not quite that simple, because we have other landfills that we are permitted for. When you're dealing with, these used to be DA, now it's DPL, dealing with their requirements. Everything you have is like this, it's all in one ball. You can't just say, well, yeah, but over here, we're going to do this, we're just not going to pay attention to that. And I understand that we got, monitoring problems over here, but we're not focused on that, we don't want that facility anymore. Need this kind of thing, we're fine, we're going to suspend your permits over here. Until you get that straight. So we're not going to have we're always going to have a requirement. And if there comes information that comes out of that, that is something we're going to have to handle. And we have other permanent facilities, but that part of that liability is not the liability is powerful.
Number 10, committee report, hearing number 1, have voted for the time.
And then number 2 has no report.
Legal update. Administrative update.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the council, with the, most brief, there's no capital sales tax update this time. We are planning a groundbreaking project, Marion, in March. I will, provide, a date and time, to you all, well in advance. So I just want to get that on the radar. I have a date and time, and I have to get that to you. I apologize for that. But anyhow, it'll be a job announcement for Marion County, something that we need desperately here in Marion County. Always excited when we can have industry to want to do business and locate here in our county and provide jobs for our citizens, and also equally as important is helping to increase our tax base. When we have industry and business located here in the county, they do two things: they create jobs and they make a pretty substantial investment. When they make this investment, what it does, it helps increase our tax base. And what does that do? When we increase our tax base, that means we have more resources to help to provide better public safety, EMS, maintain our roads and bridges, county roads. We got over 700 miles of dirt road that we have to keep up or whatever. So we have industry to locate that helps us provide better services for our constituents, and it also helps to not have to raise the millage. And you all know during budget time, so that we can continue to provide the invaluable services that our citizens enjoy so very much. So we're always excited when we have industry. We want to locate here in our county, and it's only because of your leadership and the type of business environment that you create here in our county. You say to businesses, we are open for business, we're friendly, we want you here. And when businesses do well, remember, we do well and can as citizens. So I'll be back in touch with you on that. Also, in front of you, you should have our proposed time and place of meetings of the Marion County Council. And I guess we need to get an approval on this, Mr. Chairman. When you have,
Got a motion?
Second.
A second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So likewise, that.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next, in front of you, you should have a schedule of our 2026 holidays. And I would ask for your approval, adoption of this holiday schedule for our county employees, please.
So.
Got a motion, got a second. All in favor? All in favor, say aye. Aye. So likewise,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next, in front of you, you should have an expenditure report from SOS that support our shelters. This is the December expenditure report, and it's for your perusal. Also, I just want to inform you of the MLK Day. You should have that in front of you as well. Want to make you aware. Saturday, January 17th, through Monday, January 19th, and various MLK activities that will be taking place during the county, and we'd love to have your participation. Also, last but not least, should have in front of you is the Marion County Treasurer income statement for the month of November. This is information that our treasurers provide for you monthly, so you can see where we are financially, our income statement. And Mr. Chairman, that concludes my update. Thank you, sir.
thank you. First, the comments by members of council.
I would like to thank, our deputy administrator, Mr. Williams, for the job he's done in the last 6 months. I don't know about the rest of the council, but I definitely appreciate being able to call you and get that. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. And I also want to thank South Carolina Forestry and Douglas Fire Department. We had a brush fire over the weekend off Page Road and Fruitburg. And their timely response to what was going on saved probably about 150 or so acres from getting out. So thank you. That's all I have to say.
I also would like to thank the administrator for the great job that he's done, helping us with our economic development and the day-to-day running and camp. I think it's about time to get the ball off his back.
I agree with you.
All right. We need to go ahead and elect minister. I like to put up the name David Cross.
I say that, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry. We have a motion and a second for Mr. David Clark, the medical position. Any discussion?
I'm just gonna say this. I'm not saying for it, it's anybody. But it's in my opinion that we have 3 finalists on the 4-year law. We're supposed to publicize those 3 finalists are so that the public can weigh in their representatives. Not having some people here through the grapevine who the finalists are, so that the full public can get here, so that the full public can have an opportunity on the full disclosure to weigh in.
Got a motion, got a second, call the motion.
Got a motion, got a second. Show of hands on Mr. David Cross. Well, likewise.
Can I say something? This is the best news I've heard in the last 7 months. And I thank you all for this, and look forward to working with Mr. Cross. I don't know him, and I've met him, Heard a lot about him, but, we will welcome him, and we will work with him, hand and foot, to move this county forward. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I like to thank this whole county. That's this whole stuff, never got mad one.
Yes, we.
Come on. And I'd like to thank the county employees, I know you're walking out the door now, that's fine. Good job they do. And Ms. Williams, thank you for what you did. Thank you again for what you did. I thank the public for coming. And, thank you, everybody.
I would like personally commend Mr. Williams' job. All these years, how many years you been there? I'm gonna say, he's working harder. He's working harder in the last 6 months than ever in his life. He's done a great job, and I want us to be serious about it. I would love for all of us as a council to start praying to take the problems. And I'm telling you, there's 2 jobs that I would never have. High school principal, don't care, no high school principal for me, and an administrator for a county or a city. These people out here, they're worried about themselves, I'm not saying. But it's a tough job. That he'll be able to do it, and the Lord will guide him in the way he sees. So,
Amen. Looking forward to working with the problem. I like to thank the citizens, their patience. Hard decision. He said it was many discussions, did get upset with each other, but nothing personal. You know, we walked out, shook hands, and we still maintain. Being counsel was hard. Can be hard sometimes, making decisions for citizens.
I'd like to thank our chairman for guiding us with the turbulent work. So it hadn't been easy. Said nobody got mad at me, but I don't know about it. Nobody got black eye. But we're all at the best interest, man, can at heart, the whole time we were made on. And I appreciate his job.
Yes. I'd like for us to send our thoughts and prayers to Mr. Benjamin. Yes. One of our most dedicated, first responders. He recently experienced a very serious, health episode. He's down in Charleston at the University. So please keep him, because he served not only in that, but the volunteer fire department. And he can go to places that once he can. Those are the most serious individuals people ever meet. So please keep him in your prayers. Just a couple of things. Mr. Attorney, have you got the copy of the special master rule yet? Regarding the Carolina rule? The older Carolina rule. So if it, my understanding now, for something to be, it has to be a regulation in order for it to be final, correct?
Yes, and no. That makes sense. That's a good order now. The judge makes a ruling from the bench. This will be because the judge was a special record. That finalizes that. The documentation of that, yes, if necessary. Because it's on the record, never give.
So where is the hearing record?
I haven't seen anything on that. They would still have parties, but I can give that to you if you want.
Can you please get that copy of that? Thank you. Mr. Williams, President Williams. Yeah, the landing. In North Street.
It's open for business.
Okay.
It's open, right after Christmas. Yes, sir, it's open, closing.
Thank you.
And they're utilizing the feedback I'm getting, we're really happy with it. I have to, commend, R.E. Goodson Construction, our development center for a job well done. want to publicly thank BNR and, their team, for doing the engineering and overseeing of the project, and, it has really turned out good, and, I don't think we'll ever have to worry about, people being able to access the water at any given time going forward there at, the district. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just want to make you all aware that the school board has a survey on the school district website. That the search firm is asking residents to, answer as they help narrow down candidates. The application process finalized. They have another application. They're going to go through, they're going to have community input. They're going to have 2 meetings with the public. At Marion High School, North High School, that information is available on the school board website. Lastly, this is just the selection for this county moving forward. I encourage everyone to go to the school district's website and fill out that survey.
I have one request. In honor of February Black History Month, I would like to make a resolution for this Smith, a copy of this. Chief of the county city. And then first, like, you got that, then we're going to have the first chair and vice chair. Motion got accepted, any discussion? All fair side, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Then discussion, personnel. So, motion got accepted, discussion, first side,
I, I'm coming with my.
discussion, no action taken, then the motion to come out of executive session, to go back in regular session.
So.
Second, got a motion, got a second, then discussion. All fair side,
I.
ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we transfer the full-time employee constable from the sheriff's department to the national court. Salary to follow from the sheriff's department's budget.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second, any discussion? All fair say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, let me state for the record that, as we have continued conversations, we're going to clarify, what the county policy is and hopefully put it on the website regarding transfer, sale, of property. We have agreements to issue primarily the difference between property that is set aside for economic development purposes and property that's just sold, in the development. And so we're going to clarify that what the policy of the Marion County forward by next month.
More business of county?
Move it,
Second.
Third.